best business model that you can get into when you're just getting started is like a done for you providing a service. I started seeing people in my own industry that shouldn't be teaching people how to do it, essentially taking advantage of people. The sales conversation should actually be a conversation. It's not me trying to force upon you what I think is good. Money's just a tool. You can make it and lose it so fast. I was homeschooled from second grade all the way through high school, which I dropped out of. I didn't want a diploma or a GED because I didn't want to have a plan B. The man who chases two rabbit catches none. I lost around 50 grand learning how to trade. Solomon was the richest man to walk the face of the planet. In today's economy, his estimated net worth was over $3 trillion.
Pieces of advice that you wish you knew when you were starting off?
Get in the Bible earlier, like way earlier.
Kicking ass, taking names, and today we are here with Cam Meunier, or It's Camera Cam. I originally found him on YouTube. He was building out his YouTube channel and did a 0 to 10K a month on how to start your own media production agency, right? And yep. I want you guys to hear from him because Cam is 23 years old and he's made, I'm sure you've made over 7 figures at this point, right? So he's breaking over 7 figures annually. So yeah, you guys are talking to another person who's really kicking ass. I want you guys to say welcome to Cam. So thanks, Cam, for being here.
Absolutely, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad everything worked out the way that it did, and I know it was a little last minute, so I appreciate you pulling it off.
Yeah, no, I know you're going out of the country, so I wanted to get a pod run in before. I was following you already previously, by the way, so I found you. What you've been doing has been working, because I found you online on that YouTube channel, and I had like 2 or 3 other people whenever I talked to them about like, hey, we're doing media production. We've got like K18 Media in the background. Like we want to work with local clients as well because like we kind of are, local to Phoenix and want to help out businesses. And what ended up happening is I had like 2 or 3 other guys who were all in the coaching space, and they would send me your videos. And then one of them was like, yo, this guy's in Scottsdale. And then it turns out you were like at the Optima, which is like 7 minutes away from my house.
That's awesome.
So, and then the other thing is that was a coincidence was, we met at the Kava bar, and I have a Kratom company that's sponsoring us. So I'm actually going to do a shout out to them at the end of this. But anyways, so dude, can you tell us a little bit about your story of how you got into entrepreneurship in the video aspect, right? Because people are going to know you as Camera Cam. So you work with people who have agencies, media agencies, whatever. Like I have a buddy named Blake. He's got Be Creative Media. Mm-hmm. He's been following you. He wants to, be one of your students. You teach them how to grow their business and to expand from there. Can you give me a little bit of background about what you do and like how you got into all that and like what when people look at you, like what are they looking for usually?
For sure, yeah. So I guess kind of starting from the beginning, I was homeschooled from second grade all the way through high school, which I dropped out of. So, I dropped out of homeschool. Basically, I told my mom that I didn't want a diploma or a GED because I didn't want to have a plan B to fall back on. At that point, when I decided I wanted to drop out, I was working with like a startup kind of education company at the time. So I'd actually already had my first 10K a month. So I saw the possibility of what I was doing. I was like, okay.
You were like 17 or how old?
I was 18, yeah.
18.
So I guess to backtrack a little bit, I was working with /for a dealership at the time. I was making videos for them. Didn't really know what I was doing, but it's okay because they didn't really know what they wanted. So it's kind of like this team effort where I got to create and kind of help just build community in our community around more engaging videos. And then from there, I knew that I wasn't just going to be working with a dealership for the rest of my life. I was like, I need to be doing more. So I started growing a social media page. And this was with one of the top salesmen in the group of like 14 different dealerships. And so he was like top 3. And I was like, let's make like a sales course, right?
Is this in Arizona or?
This was actually in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay.
Yeah.
You grew up there.
Yep.
Okay.
So I was born and raised in Texas. And at like 12 years old, I moved to New Hampshire. And then 15, 16 years old, I started working with a dealership. And then I became friends with one of the top salesmen, like I said. And I was like, well, me at 15, 16, like I know that there's obviously an opportunity online to teach others and make money doing so. And I was like, well, I'm not qualified yet, but this guy is the top salesman, out of like 14 groups, and in the country, he's probably doing really well as well. So I was like, why doesn't he like make a course teaching other people how to be better at car sales. So I started growing an Instagram page with him where we would shoot content, and I was posting on it consistently, like every single day, like twice a day, and grew like, I want to say 3,000 or 4,000 followers in 5 months, with a couple like paid promotions that I did to help launch the page. So it was like pretty discouraging because it wasn't really going anywhere. And then I started like clipping sales content on YouTube and like repurposing it into videos to post on Instagram as well. Kind of like created my own style.
Like faceless automation, YouTube automation, or no?
Well,
like
on
that?
Instagram, like I found like, you know, like Grant Cardone, Gary Vee type videos. And this was again back in like 2018, 2019. And so I just like started like pulling those videos to kind of add it into the Instagram page. And I just remember like, there was one day I'd been doing it for 5 months and I was just so frustrated because nothing was moving, nothing was happening. And I took that frustration out in creating like an Instagram title for one of those videos.
Yeah.
And I remember it was when Cardone realized that Belfort was an idiot.
No.
And I was like,
dude, that was your video?
Yeah.
How many views did that get?
Well, it got repurposed a lot, so I don't know exactly, but like
Yeah.
that. So I like took my frustration out in creating that title because I was like, you know, I'm getting sick of this. Like, we're not seeing any progress. Like, you know, because like that's an aggressive title for me at the time.
Yeah.
And then I put that title out there, and you know, it's like my face wasn't on the page, so I was like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then that video got like 100,000 views.
Wow. Yeah. I remember seeing that because I follow Jordan Belfort. I follow Grant Cardone. I like both of them. Honestly, I just think that Cardone's more marketing focused.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really sales. You know what I'm saying? Like Cardone's really just kind of like nobody knows about you, and to Belfort's more of like, hey man, like we're trying to get this like high ticket close.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So I made that video and it like followers started pouring in from that. And I was like, that was like where it clicked for me. I was like, oh, like
Did you funnel them though from that video to the other, like your personal page?
No, I didn't really have a personal page at the time. Like it was, I was literally just growing that page. And I was like, at that point I was learning. Like I had bought a couple courses, a couple mentorships to like learn how to do this. And I mean, granted, I was getting good advice, and like the guy that I bought a mentorship from 6 years ago, like I still talk to it this day, and he's like one of the best copywriters I know. And
was it Dan Bolton?
No, he's like super low key, like not many people know him.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so I like make that video and it like blows up, and I was like, why don't I just keep doing this? And I kept doing it, kept making viral videos. This was back when IGTV was a thing. And then from there, I grew to like 27,000 followers in the next 45 days, 28,000. And so it's just like going electric.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I never ended up making a course with that salesman, but through growing that page and like going viral and like learning how videos worked. And I think it was just more so
a formula. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was more so just learning about how people interacted with videos and how they take action from videos. So that was like the start of it, which arguably was like kind of the beginning of where I am now. Like I knew that I was interested in video. My mom was a photographer, so she like passed some of it over to me. And then that psychological focus on videos and how people interact with them was like a big stepping stone for me. And so after learning a little bit about that, the same mentor that I had paid, I think I paid him $1,000 to like teach me how to like grow an Instagram page basically. And I split that with the salesman. So it was like 500 for me, 500 for him. And I remember like, that was when I filed taxes, and the only way I could like pay up front like for that is I had to wait for my tax return. And then I like got my like $500 tax return, and I put it all like right into like that mentorship, which now that I look back on, I'm super glad that I did that, because from there, we were like, I was in an engagement group back when those were a thing, with this other like business who ended up being down in Boston. He was a day trading business, like teaching other people how to day trade. And so from there, he liked my content because I was putting in a lot of effort into my videos, and they were like going viral. He was selling a trading course, but didn't have like the best content yet. And so he like was leaving the engagement group. He's like, I don't really want to like go engage on all these other randos posts anymore. He's like, but I still like your stuff. Like I'm still going to engage with your stuff. I was like, oh, I appreciate that, bro. And then like, I just like ended up getting in a little bit of conversation with him in like an Instagram DM, and then found out that he lived like 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, he had a day trading course. And so I just remember that I was like, yo, like, I'll like shoot videos for you.
Yeah.
I just like kind of threw that out there. Yeah. He's like, what are your prices? And I was like, oh, man, what are my prices? You know, like I don't know what my prices are. But all I knew is I was like, okay, this guy's day trader. He's making money, lives down in Boston. Like, I know that whatever price that I charge, I need to like scare myself with the number that I throw out there. So I was like, $100 an hour. And then I'm like, I sent that and I like didn't get a response in like 5 minutes. So I'm like tweaking. I'm like, oh man, like it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like maybe I pitched too high. And then he got back to me. He's like, yeah, sounds good. I was like, man, did I even pitch high enough? Like he just like,
now looking
like,
back
cool.
on it, did you? Obviously.
Well, then, so that ended up like, we were talking about it. And then like, I made the rookie mistake of like, I was like, we're good. He agreed to $100 an hour. I'm going to go buy some gear because we're going to shoot together. So I like go and like buy some more camera gear. And then like last minute, he's like, yo, like, you know, I'm going to need like a rain check. Like I can't do it. I'm like, damn, like I just bought all this camera gear and now I don't even have a job to go and use it for. So, but I kept following up with him. And then I actually I drove out to New York to go and meet, which was like probably a 5-hour drive to go and meet like my mentor and his business partner. And one of the lessons that I took away from them and how they were at the time running their agency was like, they charge a retainer and then performance. And I was like, that's an interesting concept. Like, cause I was just going to go bill this guy for my time. Right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what if I like started doing that, you know, like performance? I didn't really understand it, but I knew that I could like at least pitch it, you know, at least try. So I go to this, like I am talking to that guy. I was like, yo, like I'm out in New York. Like, you want me to just drive over to Boston? And he like basically okayed it last minute. Cause I like kind of kept pushing. I was like, yo, like, you know, I'm only going to be in New York for X amount more days. Like, do you want to do this? Do you want to not? And he ended up just saying yes to it. So I went out there and I just like shot a bunch of videos with him. And after I shot the videos and I was like showing him the footage and he was excited about it. And he was basically like, so like, what would it look like if we were to like keep doing this? Like, I like these videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, $2K a month and 20, cause like at the time with the dealership I was working with, like I was making $2K there. So I'm in my mind, I'm like, I just really want to get to $4,000 a month. Like that's a big goal of mine. I want to get to $4,000 a month. And so I was making $2,000 from the dealership, making all their content. And then, you know, I was like, okay, well, like if I get this guy for 2,000, I make 30 short form videos for him a month. And then whatever else he needs, like I didn't even care about the deliverables that I was making for him. I was just like, I just want to get to $4,000 a month. Like that's a big goal of mine. You know, I'm 17 years old. You know, I want to get there. And actually, no, I just turned 18. It was like 2 months into 18 and I'd gone down. So my birthday's in December, late December. And I went down like third week in February to shoot with him. And so I was like, he's like, how much would it be? I was like, $2,000 and 25% of sales past your biggest month. So whatever your biggest month is, which was $40,000, then I take 25%. He's like, cool, deal. And he like accepted it on the spot. And so like, obviously like, you know, I'm driving back to New Hampshire, 2.5, 3 hour drive, just like super hype, you know, cause I just landed this client, didn't even know how agreements work, found like some agreement template and like, yeah, that looks good. And like sent it over his way. He signed it. And then, so we like kicked that off. And so the first month, you know, I'm like, I want to get over $40,000 a month for him because, you know, then I start to make money. So, you know, at this time with that $2,000 plus like the dealership, I was at $4,000 a month. February, like we go through February and, you know, obviously, you know, there's only really like a week left. So like we start posting videos for him and he still like doesn't like do more in sales than like his biggest month. He did like 30, 35. I was like, man, like we were close, but like, you know, I don't get anything this month. And then next month I'm posting videos for him every single day. Like I'm shooting these videos. Yeah. I go down there every month and then he comes up to me. So like every 2 weeks we're shooting videos together. The next month in March, we did $75,000 in sales. So
was that like 35? You get 25% of 35K.
Yep. So he did like everything like past 40. Yeah. $8,000 plus the 2K. So I'm 18 years old, 3 months into it.
Dang,
yeah.
Nice.
And I'm like,
that's an interesting way to do it. I never even thought of that.
Yeah. But that's like, so like I'm 18, I'm still in high school, and you know, like I'm 3 months into being 18, and I jumped from making basically like 3K a month all the way up to 14K a month, because I'm like that 2K plus the 8K plus some other side jobs, like right up to 14K.
And this guy was the dealership guy or car?
No. So this was the day trader down in Boston.
Day trader. Oh, right.
Yeah. And so I just make that huge jump. And so like at the time I'm still like, you know, in homeschool high school. And then I see $14,000 at the end of the month. Like,
is that what you told your mom I'm dropping out of your class?
Well, she didn't like really know how much, my mom or dad didn't really know how much I was making. But then after I saw that opportunity of like, wow, I did this and I didn't even use my education at all for this. Like, yeah, sure. Like math and like, but like this came from like studying Instagram videos and like knowing how to do that and studying video, like nothing that came from, you know, school necessarily. Yeah. And so, yeah, sure. Math and all that's super important. But I was like, I don't even need what school has to offer. Like I'd be going to college to go and make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month from a degree. And I'd have to go to for 4 years. I'm 18 years old and I just made 14 grand. Like, okay, so I'm like connecting the dots over here. I'm like, I don't need to do this.
It's too big of a discrepancy.
Yeah.
You can't go back after that.
I was like, you know, even if this doesn't last forever, which it's probably not, there's still opportunity outside of college, right? So I think that was like the, you know, if I had myself in a box of like, oh, college is the opportunity, and I knew there's opportunity outside of it, but like sometimes you just have to like do it and like have the money hit to actually believe it, right? And so I go and do that and the money hits the bank account. I'm like, okay, this is a real thing. So I tell my mom, she like basically brings it up one day. She's like, so like, what do you want to do about like graduating? I was like, I don't want to graduate. I don't want a diploma. I don't want a GED. I don't want to graduate. And at first she was like, well, like, I think you should finish. You have 3 months left. And my dad's like, yeah, I think you should finish. You have 3 months left. I'm like, I don't want to finish. I don't want that as a fallback mechanism. I don't want to be able to say like, oh, like I have a diploma or GED so I can go and get a job. I don't want that. And so I convinced them by showing them the fact that I made $14,000. Like, well, I guess, you know, he made more than both of us combined this month. And if my mom and dad are watching this, I love you guys. And I'm so thankful for the support. I don't mean that in a egotistical way at all, but it was more so just the fact that like,
to show that it was possible.
Yeah. Like they had to see it to believe it. And they're like, okay, fair enough. Cause like they knew, like they went to college, like, yeah, like we went to college. All we learned how to do is drink. Like all of the, you know, experience and everything that we gained was like on the job. Like my dad worked for like, he was a project manager for multiple like tech companies. And then my mom was a graphic designer. So she's like, yeah, like I didn't learn graphic design in college. My dad's like, I didn't learn how to fix computers in college. Like that was all on the job. So like, if you feel like, you know, you're in a good position to go continue learning, which that's one thing that I'm super thankful to my parents for, is like, they taught me how to go and learn for myself. So I was able to go and do that. And so I ended up not finishing high school. And then I was working with him for a couple months, and then he made me an offer. He's like, yo, like, I'll pay you $10K if you move to Boston. I was like, in a town of 6,000 people at the time, and that was the biggest town around. I was like, okay, I'm down. And so I just like signed a lease, and I knew that my parents wouldn't be like super excited that I signed a lease. And this was like right during, you know, 2020, like everything's going down. Yeah. September hit, and like September is like when everything's going down. I'm like, I just signed a lease in Boston. So I like went and I found like where I was going to go and sign a lease. It's like $2,700 a month for a studio, which was like way more than I had, you know.
That's a high number. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like I was making like over 10K a month, and I was like, I'm moving closer to the opportunity that's the fuel for everything. So I'm like, opportunity cost, like it's worth it. Yeah. He's going to pay me 10K. That's going to cover 4 months of rent anyway. Yeah. So like I'm good. Right. And I moved down there. I think I had like $30,000 liquid, $40,000 liquid. So I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's one thing.
Worst case, told you already were good.
Exactly. Right. So, and that was just from like working with this guy all summer, like stacking up 10K a month. I continued buying better gear while also putting some money aside. And so I like just signed a lease.
I think the best thing you did there was not act like a typical 18-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. Not go and blow it. Like I did buy myself like a car that I did really like, but it was a $12,000 car.
Yeah.
So like nothing too crazy.
You weren't making those mistakes.
And I like put half down. I financed the other half to go and build my credit. It was like a 2-year loan on it. So it was like a $235 a month payment, which was like super reasonable, and loved the car. Absolutely fantastic car. And so I went down to, well, I signed a lease and I didn't tell my parents that I signed a lease, right? So I'm like, I need to like make sure that I like get into this lease contractually before I tell my parents that I'm doing this. And then so I tell my parents, I'm like, yeah, so I'm moving out. Like, you know, like next, I don't, I think it was like a month before, but I'm like, yeah, like I just signed a lease in Boston. So again, love my parents, you know, but I was just like, I needed to like go pursue bigger opportunity than what was available in our town. So I ended up moving down to Boston. And that was like where my world just really opened up. And I was by myself living, like I had a studio, I was living by myself, and like this is right during COVID. So like I'm not like meeting people, right? So it was just a very interesting year for me. Like I didn't believe in COVID at all, but I was like, you know, outside doing whatever. And I'm just like in essentially like a year of solitude. Like I'm working with this guy, but like I'm so thankful for that year because I learned so much about myself and it gave me so much time to think and
You
process
just sit there and just like
learn.
study other stuff.
Like I was reading books. I was just working out. Like that was probably some of the time that I had the best routine in my life, and still like I was barely getting sleep because I was just so hungry for where I was going, learning more. I was like buying courses. I remember there's a $15,000 mentorship thing that I bought, and it was like learning about ads. It was like learning about funnels and like all of that jazz. And I didn't really know what all that was at the time, but I was just like, I know I need to like learn more, because essentially what happened, I think this is an important detail to include in there as well. When I started working with this guy and I started making that 25% past their biggest month, and that, you know, essentially like extra $10,000 hits my bank account, I knew right there that I was an overpaid videographer. Like I was not like, this is going to keep going. I was like, I need to figure out how to take on as much operational stress from him as possible if I want to maintain this. I need to make myself irreplaceable so that he can't just move on to another videographer. So that's where I was extremely proactive. I'm like, yo, what do you need help with? It's like, dude, like stories, like for Instagram, like I need help with those. I was like, perfect, give them to me. Like I'll learn how to do it. I wasn't concerned with like, oh, like pay me extra for this. It was just like, this is college for me, right? And I'm getting paid to learn. So like, yeah, 10K a month, perfect. You know, I can sustain myself perfectly fine. Like I can still put money away. I can just live below my means while still having fun if I want to. But like, I just need to learn. So anything that I could take from him, like off of his plate, I would go and take.
How long did you guys end up working together?
2 years. Yeah.
So that's good time to retain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then did you move?
Well, I became the COO of his business.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was doing like, literally I was doing everything that I could, because I just knew that this was not the end goal in life. This was just a stepping stone. So I just needed to take this opportunity to learn as much as possible. We ended up scaling to over 300K a month at one point. I didn't have 25% at that point. We renegotiated. So my contract that we landed on for over, I think a year and a half was
10% or something.
I want to say it was, I don't remember if it was, I think it was it was either 5 or 8K retainer base. And then it was it was 8K retainer base and 5% of sales past 100K. So that was like what we landed on. And that was like, you know, so
you still make like, still making like
my
what,
biggest month.
Yeah,
my biggest month that I made, I think when we did like 300K, 330K was, it was either, I think it was 19K, including another like client that I had as well. And then essentially what happened is I started, like, I was kind of running a lot of the ship, and he was still the face of the brand, but didn't really want to be the face anymore. So we were starting to introduce other people, and then the brand strength started declining. And he just like, I mean, I'd taken off so much of his plate. So he had like a lot of time to do whatever he wanted to do. And we were just hitting ceilings. Like I wanted to do other stuff, but like, because I wasn't the face and I wasn't the one like leading the ship, like I wanted to start doing webinars, but I couldn't do that because he didn't really want to.
Is that when you started to really build out the future for you of where you were going to go next? Or
well, that's where I left. Yeah. I was like, you know, I have some money set aside. Like, you know, I'm good. Like I'm just going to go and figure out something on my own. And what actually happened he was a trading company. So like on the side, like I had started learning how to trade, started losing money on the side basically. So I lost around 50 grand learning how to trade. So which I'm not regretful of at all, because I learned so much about myself from that. Because, you know, if there's anyone watching this that's ever traded before, like you get in positions, large positions, your emotions just start kicking in quick. I was trading options. So like I'm watching like hundreds and thousands of dollars fluctuate like in seconds. I'm like, this is insane. Like, oh, so I'm down 1,000, I'm down 2,000, I'm down 3,000, like literally like almost that fast in some cases, which is just like, it just tugs on you so much.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm so thankful for that, because I learned about myself in that. Like I remember there's a day that I lost $6,000 trading, and I just like went for a walk. I was like, man, that sucks a lot, you know, like that's like, you know, over 2 months of rent that I just lost in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so a good takeaway that I had from that was just like my connection to and how I perceived money changed forever, right? You can make it and lose it so fast. Like money's just a tool. It's just there. It just exists, right? And, you know, you can either figure out how to get more of that tool, or you can center your life around like working for that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's where I want to lead the conversation, actually, because what a lot of people really are going to be curious about, and I even had a buddy that was supposed to make it today. I think he's caught up on something. But these guys, like especially, you know, videographers, people are just like you. Melissa's here; she's in the same position. It's like you can get a certain, you know, position or get a contract. But then people always think like, how do I, in this video world, you know, this is what we live in, right? This is, I mean, wouldn't you say that's driving most of the sales today?
Yeah. Videos,
is videos,
literally everything.
Everything now. And
think about what I would say is challenge you and whoever's watching this, between short form videos, between ads, between YouTube videos, between all sorts of videos. Like how much do you think you're consuming a day?
It's like 10 hours.
Yeah. Like everything is video.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so businesses realize that they need video in order to be successful.
There's no shortage, I don't think. I don't think there's enough videographers to demand to supply the amount of businesses that need video. If they were
yes and no
hiring for it.
I would say there's not enough results driven videographers.
Yeah.
Right. So the difference between a normal videographer and a results driven videographer, and this is what I figured out when I was working for that company and I started making over $10,000 a month, was he didn't care about the videos that I was creating. He cared about how it grew his business, right? So if I could track, so that's how he knew that like, if I'm taking 25% past your biggest month, well, you and all of your own efforts scaled to $40,000 per month, right? Me bringing in and creating these videos, it was just like a super easy gauge of like, okay, well, if you hit bigger months and I'm the only one posting for you, then it's probably because of the videos that I posted. Right. So when we jumped from $40,000 to $75,000 and then $95,000 the next month, we quickly realized that's like, well, you know, we knew from the beginning that it's because of the videos I'm posting, because I'm the only one posting. Right.
Did you stick to that model, by the way? Like if you work with an enterprise client right now, would you have stuck to some sort of retainer plus? Oh,
yeah. We still run it to this day. Yeah.
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 I feel like I didn't even think of, is that one of the things where do you mention that in your YouTube channel, or do you
to a degree, in like the YouTube series I did, like attribution is the most important thing.
But the tracking you did, I still didn't even go into the full detail of it.
Mm-hmm.
But how does that work, man? How do you track views?
So tracking views,
organic views, right?
isn't like, it's important, right? And some businesses will pay for that, but like where the real money is in tracking the result of those views. So interest in their business,
page clicks
through, page, like if you're like, oh, I can, you know, here's 1,000 page clicks. I'm like, all right, cool. Kick rocks. I kind of really care. Yeah. Leads, booked calls, appointments, sales. Like think of like when I'm going into dealerships, you know, I think that's where like there's a little bit of disconnect in the series. Like I tried to like make it relatable to beginners. So I was trying to go and sell videos, right? Which actually makes it a lot harder. But if you're selling the result of your videos, where it's like, I'm still working with that same dealership in the series, but Now I'm just essentially selling them leads, right? Because those are people they can actually make money from, right? So
did you run all of that from their account still?
Yeah.
So then when you get the leads, is it the leads that they have from like a ManyChat or?
So, well, I'm running ads for them currently. So the way that it works is I just have attribution where I'm running their ads. And then as soon as like a lead clicks on the ad, it's just tracked back to me, right? So if I bring them 100 leads, we know which 100 leads were mine because they're tracked to me. And then when I send them into their database, I'm also tagging it to myself as well. So then we can see at the end of the month, you know, say they sold 200 cars, we can see how many of those came from the leads that I sent them.
Yeah. So what are the most common mistakes that you see a lot of the videographers in like the beginner intermediate stage making?
Selling packages. It's like, oh, here's my video package. I have a $500 package, $1,000 package, $2,000 package. When instead the sales conversation should actually be a conversation. It's not me trying to force upon you what I think is good, right? And instead it's like, so like, what are you struggling with right now? Oh, like, you know, you're not making consistent Instagram content. Well, why is that important to you? And then go down that kind of rabbit hole. And if you can just ask the person you're working with the right questions as to understand their business and what they actually need, then you sell to that need, right? So it's like, if I'm like dying of thirst and you're like, yeah, so like, you know, I've got a bowl of cereal, like I've got a steak and I've got a salad. Like, which one do you want? Dude, I'm thirsty. Like, I don't want any of those. Like, I want water, right? But if you just ask me, it's like, what are you struggling with right now? And dude, I need some water. And then it's like, I can come to you with water, or you can come to me with water and be like, yeah, so this water is actually $10 a bottle, but I don't care because I'm thirsty, right? So I'll pay a premium for the result to be fulfilled that I'm looking for. So with businesses, it's like, dude, like we just need more sales and revenue and customers, right? And so what we realize is like, if there's businesses that are hungry for that, we can go and we can get them, you know, on a good retainer to go and cover our expenses. But then the revenue share for when we actually go and get them a result, which we're able to track back to us, that's where we can go and build them, right? So I have a client that I'm billing today, and our performance check will be 3 times as large as our retainer. And that's just because of the results that we've gotten.
And the goal is like really when you start working with them that over time, like over 3-6 months, you're anticipating that performance will go up because you're dialing in all of the whatever's working and what's not in terms of like the video content and ads.
Correct. What we've realized now is most business owners, especially at the level that we're going and servicing, which is anywhere between like 50 and 500K a month, they're usually just not very good at going and tracking their data. Yeah. Right. Especially on the marketing side. Yeah. So we actually have to go in and we have to develop a tracking system for them on top of actually going and delivering the videos. Yeah. Like the videos is such a little piece of what we deliver that, you know, it's what everyone sees because no one really sees the back end tracking and attribution of like, you know, where things are coming from, who brought them there. They just see the videos going out.
Are you using like tools like Hyros?
Yeah, very similar to that. Yeah.
And also, I think I know which one you're talking about. There's the second competitor. They're really close to Hyros, the ad tracking software.
Do you know any names?
I don't know. I don't remember the names, but I'm just saying there's a couple of them. Are you guys focused on like working with any particular niche industry? Like, you focus on like an industry because you like it better or it performs better? Or?
For sure. So we focus on personal brand entrepreneurs and car dealerships. So I like car dealerships just because like, I think it's a great business model. Like you have sales reps, like they're making good money. Like it's a very sustainable business. Everyone needs a car. Everyone needs, you know, services. Whether you think that salesmen are sleazy or not, obviously there are some sleazy salesmen out there. You know, it's a business model that if your car breaks, you got to get a new car, right? So it's just a necessity of a business model. So I love going and servicing car dealerships. And then personal brand entrepreneurs. These are people that go and, you know, teach people how to do XYZ, right? So we have a client right now that teaches people how to get into vending machines and building their own route. We have another client right now that teaches people how to get into small business acquisition.
But those leads you're getting from your ads or YouTube?
Well, those we actually go and make their YouTube videos.
Did you, yeah, but to get them, right? Because there's no business directory of them. They have to reach out to you or find you somehow. So
Yeah.
are you running ads for that, or is that all from your YouTube video that's been going viral?
Actually, it's all been pretty much referrals. So I would say definitely growing on Instagram and YouTube has helped, because it's like, oh, look, like we can actually do the service that we're providing for you. But even still, before like any of that blow up, like, we were hitting over 50K a month with our agency. So
what's the percentage of would you say, of organic versus paid that you, like, if you were to put a number on what you like to use, like, do you like to utilize 70% of your energy on like organic and just putting a little, like, small budget of a little boost to paid? Or do you, like, some people are full organic or full paid?
So we're like probably 95% organic, and then the remainder paid. And it's just because we've gotten really good at organic and we just haven't really needed it. But what I'm realizing is, like, if we want to like force the client to much bigger revenue numbers, like millions a month, then we just need that added traffic, because organic just takes more time. Right? We've gotten pretty good where we can make it relatively quick. Like we're seeing clients go and make anywhere between, like, on average, like 50 to 150K a month extra from YouTube. But it's like, I want to be making them an extra 500, like 700.
Also, too, it's setting the right expectations for the client, right? Because the thing that I've noticed is kind of tough with organic is that if people don't see results, most of the time, usually it's 90 days. Like, if they don't see like massive results in 90 days, they're like, I don't believe that this works. It's, even though you could show them that you've doubled month over month, but if they're starting from zero and you double month over month, by month 3, they're still not excited.
Yeah.
Do you, is it, so in that, when you listen to that, do you hear me saying like, I'm not doing a good enough job in the first 90 days, or maybe it's setting expectations wrong, or is it that those type of clients need to be filtered, screened, or set into different buckets? Like,
yeah. So there's 3 things that you need to focus on when you're going and pursuing a client, right? One, it has to be someone that can actually afford you. And what I mean by actually afford you, like, they're making at least 10 times what you're planning to charge them, right? So this day trader that I was working with at the time was making between $30,000 and $40,000 a month, and I was charging him a $2,000 retainer. He can very comfortably afford that. Whereas if I go to like a real estate agent, like, they're maybe making 10K, they probably got a lot of overhead. You going and pitching them 1 or 2K, like, that's a stretch, right? So they just can't comfortably afford it. So number 1, they can comfortably afford it. Number 2, they can actually benefit from you, right? And this is where a lot of people go wrong as well. So they'll go and, try to service clients that they actually are not good at servicing, right? If I went and took my skills and applied it to the wrong business, it's just not going to go anywhere, right? Yeah. So you have to make sure that you're actually signing the right clients, that there's actually an opportunity and runway for what you are going and providing for them. Number 3, this one sounds a little interesting, but it's been one of the most life-saving, or client-saving, I guess you should say, metrics, is like, you can sit down and have a beer with them. Right? So then you're actually working with someone that you enjoy. Like, I can sit down and chop it up with all my clients, and I enjoy working with them. Yeah. Well, except for kind of one, but like I have a videographer on him. So, but for the most part, like, I was just shooting with a client in Oregon. I flew up there. We shot all morning. We went and played 9 holes of golf, and then I flew home. Yeah. And like, we chopped it up on the golf course. Like, we're taking, shots at each other, as far as like, he's like, oh, like, you hit it off the tee box, like, you almost got it to the women's tee, like, just funny stuff like that. And it's like, we're comfortable, like, just because I'm helping his business in a big way. Like, he's someone that can comfortably afford my services. I can actually benefit him. We've made him over $200,000 in the last 2 months, and I can sit down and have a beer with him. I've done it multiple times. Yeah. Can you talk to me about your university? You've got 200 plus students, you said, and they're all paying you. I'm assuming your program's at least $5K, right? Mm-hmm. So that means you've done over what, $1 million in students? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, talk to me about that. Like, that's obviously a big part of the business too. Really quick, I just want to kind of address our coaching program. Like, one, I'm really proud of it because we have some really great results. I think there's a lot of people that teach stuff that they're not qualified to teach. So we actually run an agency at over 100K a month right now. at over a 50% profit margin with fantastic systems. Like it's just really not stressful.
And good retention. I mean,
yep. Yeah. Good retention, big retainers. Like we're doing that with less than 10 clients. We actually were like in the beginning, like 2 years ago, I'm like, I don't ever want to sell something as far as like teaching or like coaching people, because I just think that it's kind of a scummy industry. Like there's a lot of people that underdeliver, underfulfill. They're just doing it for a cash grab. And it's like, I mean, all respect to them. Like, sure, if you want to go about doing it that way, that's cool. And I was like, I don't want to do something like that. And then what really happened was I started seeing people in my own industry that shouldn't be teaching people how to do it, teaching people, right? Just essentially taking advantage of people. And that's when I was like, okay, like, so either I sit on the sidelines and don't do anything and allow these people that scale their agency up to scale their agency up to $30,000 a month one time for 1 month, lost everything because they're not good at retaining clients. They're not good at actually doing what they're teaching. So they went and started teaching it, right? I'm sure you've heard that one quote, those who can't do, teach, right? So you got a lot of people in the space doing that. They're teaching people how to do something they don't even know how to do technically, right? So they're just leading people astray, which is significant because, you know, someone that's young and unassuming or just unassuming in general going and paying a significant amount of money, $5,000, $10,000, like they're either taking out a loan or they're drying up their savings. Like that's a significant amount of money. Like imagine you paying $10,000 to someone and they're misleading you. They're guiding you astray.
I wouldn't say I got misled, but I definitely I signed up for an 8K program when I was like, this is back in the day too. So 8K back then was over 10K if you account for inflation. And this was like, I'm not going to mention actually the name at all, but I know the guy got in trouble and I ended up not paying the full amount. Mm-hmm. So I got lucky because he got in trouble before that.
What niche was it?
It was in creating lead SEO sites. It's like, it was like 8-10 years ago or something.
Okay.
Back in the day.
And what was like the issue with it?
There was still good information, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was a legit, I would say, field and industry, and you can do everything that they said you can do. The issue was more of like in the execution and the way they did it, like nobody, like their failure rate was like huge. Like they were like 99% failure, and like 1% of people would make it, but they were probably already primed to make it, you know? And I'm not saying that in coaching that, you know, if 90% of people fail, like if 90% of people fail, but you're still 10% of people are becoming like wealthy, I would say you still, and if you have a large enough audience, I would say you're still probably servicing something. Yeah. I would say, because 90% of people, 80% of people don't do anything anyways. Yeah. But if
that's what we've realized too. It's like, there's always going to be people that fail. Like we have people, they'll
8 out of 10,
they'll
right?
go and buy, and then I'd say for us, it's definitely less than 8 out of 10.
Well, yeah. Well,
but we have people that they'll go and buy, and then they just never jump on any calls.
Yeah,
they never consume any material. They just literally ghost.
That's the thing.
Of course you're going to fail.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Like I've had people who've signed up on coaching that I've done just one-on-one, where I do, and I never do coaching by itself because I'm always like, I don't know if I'm qualified to do that. So what I do is I do coaching plus a service. So, which I was telling you about. Yeah. That's why I always provide like, hey, you can also use extension of my team. You can use my editors. You can use my funnel building people. You can use all those people that I've already found and vetted, and we'll have them work on your project. So if worst case scenario, if you're like, this is not worth the $1,500 I charged, which is very reasonable, right? Mm-hmm. Like then you could just, then you still have stuff. You still have this, you still have people who have done work for you. You have 20, 30 pieces of content. You have this done, whatever it is. Like, and I haven't done that for a lot of people. It's just been like a one-off thing where somebody asked me. Mm-hmm. But my point is like, if that's one thing that I wanted to bring up is, so we talked the other day and you said, you know what, man, like, I think you said something about like doing the coach plus service was also a really good idea, because you don't have to rely on, I don't know if it was you or someone else who said that, but I heard it, and it might have even been something that maybe online, but I don't remember. But what do you think about the model of which you said done for you is also like really easy to sell? Yeah. Because you don't have to like if you're looking for something to sell right away.
I think the best business model that you can get into when you're just getting started is like a done for you providing a service, because there quite literally is not any startup capital required. Like if you're getting e-com, you got to buy inventory or stock. And then it's like, well, even if you are maybe drop shipping, you still got to buy ads, you got to learn ads. With trading, you need capital. Even with funded accounts, like you got to go buy funded accounts, right? With providing a service, you can quite literally go and get paid upfront for providing the service. And you can even outsource the service as well. And then pay the contractor at the end of the 30 days to go and like help and assist with certain things, right? So I think done for you, it's harder to go and fulfill than like coaching or whatever. But it's, if you're just beginning, like, again, like obviously I believe in it because that's the exact route that I took. And that's how I got to my first 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000, even $100,000 a month before even starting to sell any sort of coaching or anything.
Yeah.
So, and we still run our agency at that level to this day. And I love running our agency because I love working with our clients. I love like just agency actually challenges me to learn more. And so I just love that as a business model.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, yeah, I think doing the done for you is the best route that you can take because you're also going to find out really quick if you're not doing something well, like what you need to go and improve, right? If your client works with you for a month and drops you, then you learn pretty quickly, something's not right here.
So with that being said, let's do a quick fire off of maybe some pieces of advice that you wish you knew when you were starting off, things that you would have told yourself that would have helped you immensely in growing your agency to the degree it is today.
Shiny object syndrome is real. Like the man who chases two rabbit catches none. I think I definitely stalled a lot of the progress that I could have had by chasing multiple endeavors. Tried to do faceless YouTube channels, made a little bit of money with that. Tried to do like car rentals on Turo, made a little bit of money with that. Tried day trading, lost and made some money with that. Tried e-commerce a little bit. And it's like, sure, all those things do work. And had I given enough time into one of those specifically, it would have worked. Like all those things are valid, but splitting my time against all those things is just like, that's a sure way to not get anything done and not make any progress. So, for me, like I just spent the majority of my time after realizing that I had shiny object syndrome, focusing on building my agency. And that has turned into, one of the best decisions that I've made as far as business. And I even like kind of had that advice from someone else he was a trader at BlackRock, and then he went and started a writing business. And I was still like wrestling with, do I like go the trading route or do I go like the agency and video route? He was like, bro, trust me, take the video route. I was a trader at BlackRock. Like you're not benefiting anyone. Like it's only about money. It's not about servicing customers. It's not about providing value. It's not about helping people. Trading is not that. And again, nothing against trading. Again, I think it is a great way to make money, right? If you know what you're doing, it's the hardest way to make easy money. And so like trading is great for that, but you're not servicing people. Like there's no relationships built. There's no mutual benefit created. Yeah. So shiny object syndrome is a real thing. And then another piece of advice, get in the Bible earlier, like way earlier. Like especially Proverbs, like if you actually go in and study Proverbs, you will learn so much. I mean, the man who wrote it, Solomon, was the richest man to walk the face of the planet. Like in today's economy.
You're saying so for business too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's so applicable. It's insane. Like in today's economy, his estimated net worth was over $3 trillion as a singular individual. So like all that being said, like he knew a thing or two. Right. So there's been so many like leadership lessons and so many business lessons that I pulled out of that I've taken and applied to my business and my life, just set me so far ahead. Like those two things, elite focus, and then like actually going, I mean, you have to think about it. Like you're essentially going to the source, the creator of the universe, God, establishes the Bible. Right. Yeah. So it's like taking that route is definitely a good one.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, man. Well, thank you for your time. And guys, this is Kickin Asking Names. If you guys want to find Cam, you can look him up on Instagram. It's Camera Cam. Cam, what's your YouTube channel name?
You just look Meunier, Meunier. And guys, with that, we'll look forward to see you guys next episode. Boom.